Good morning, grandkids. We are starting a second new series this morning, and this is The Alchemist. Hello, my name is Willow Jamir. The Jamir family are caravan merchants who travel all over Skyrim. My mother is the elder matron of the clan. She spends her time foraging and picking alchemy ingredients, as she's the caravan's alchemist, making potions for the family's use and for selling. She also does her own hunting to keep her litter fed. I am the oldest of that litter, but I think I'll tell you a little about myself when I was younger and still with the caravan. I would watch Mother carefully as she hid and stalked and sometimes pounced on her prey. I liked the pouncing because it was fun to scare the mice and watch them run this way and that way. I liked messing with them. I watched her as she used her bow and her dagger, but I was too young at that time to learn such grown-up skills. As I grew, I became fascinated with watching her concoct potions, sometimes out of the strangest things. I would sit close by as she worked, and she would instruct me. I thought I heard a wolf or something out there. And she would instruct me, telling what each ingredient was, what it was good for, and how to combine them. I remember what my favorite one was, a giant's toe. I would squeal with delight and want to play with it. I could tell her mood by whether she would let me or not, or if she would slap my paw away. But I was still young enough that I couldn't sit still for long. I'd rather go play and chase mice. Eventually, as I grew, I became more sensible and more skilled. By the time I was becoming a full-grown cat, I was pretty accurate with my bow and had gotten rather deadly with my dagger. Oh, and I had quit playing with a giant's toe or harassing mice just for the fun of it. I could do some serious hunting by then. One morning, I wandered out from the caravan. We had set up camp for a few days, and discovered a small, shallow cave. Knowing caves were dark, damp places, great for growing mushrooms, I went in to pick some fresh ones for Mother. I spent most of the day rambling around in there, poking into broken pots and nooks and crannies. Finally, in an unbroken pot with a tight-fitting lid on it. Oh no! Oh well. Sorry about that, everybody. He interrupted my story. Finally, in an unbroken pot with a tight-fitting lid, I found two little wondrous books, perfectly preserved. They were alchemy books, evidently hand-drawn by a gifted alchemist. One, I suspect, who also knew magic. They were beautiful. It was getting late in the day, and I hurried back to camp, dumped the mushrooms into a basket by Mother, and kept on going, grabbing a mouse by the tail out of a pile for dinner to have as a snack. I rushed to my cozy hiding place, where I went to be alone, curled up and took those marvelous books out of my pouch. I I started looking through those books slowly, page by page, studying the pictures and reading the descriptions. I guess it was that evening with my treasure of books that I started dreaming of becoming a really good alchemist like my mother. And so I read on late into the night. By the time I was skilled enough with survival weapons and swift enough to feed myself, I realized I was becoming restless with caravan life. I wanted to be out on my own. It was an exhilarating idea. It was a scary idea. Could I take care of myself? Could I survive without the rest of my clan? Was I big enough not to get picked up by the scruff of the neck by some big brute and tossed into his pouch? Could I hide from an animal who wished me for lunch or kill them? At this point, my mind turned to all the mice that I had scared silly and then lunched on. I shivered. And what about dragons? I knew they weren't legends, but real and fire-breathing. Once when I was younger, I had even seen one far in the distance from our caravan. Well, the whole point of this rambling is that one day I decided just to do it. I put my wonderful books in my pouch, made sure I had my dagger on me, picked up my bow and a quiver of arrows, and said goodbye to my mother, and set out on my own life's adventure. At that time, we were camped just outside the city gates of Riften. I decided I'd start out on the road heading west. The weather was perfect. The trees were beautiful. And there was plenty of food to find and ingredients. Just as well start collecting now, I thought. After several days of exploring the countryside, I stumbled onto this little rundown shack and decided I'd stay here for a day or two. But after discovering its possibilities, I've decided it'd do very well for a home base for a while. So here I am. I'm free, and for now I'm happy and content. Here, let me show you around. For one thing, it's in a beautiful, beautiful setting. It doesn't even have a door on it, but there's a bed with a little table, there's shelves, there's a barrel. I got everything that I need, really, in here. I can always go back into town, buy food. There's no door on the back of the place either. Look at all the ingredients that grow out here. That's great. And I have my own alchemy lab out here and another container barrel. I'm really excited to be here. There's even butterflies to catch. And I'll bet there's mice scurrying around out in the weeds too. With all these open doors, I'll probably have some inside too. Get out of my face! Right into my house! I wonder if I can drag him outside. As you can see, I can do well with my dagger. Collect me some pelts here. So that's my little abode for right now. Look, even the rain or snow or whatever might come along can just pour inside. But it'll do me for a while, don't you think? I will be quite happy here for a little bit because town really isn't that far away. And as I grow better at alchemy and make potions and sell them, kill animals that attack me and sell pelts, eventually I'll start accumulating some money, and then I'd really like to renovate this shack. I think that's what I'd like to do, is just renovate this shack and stay here for a while. I can always work out of this place as a base. Right now, I don't know where I'm eventually going to be going, or what my life is going to wind up being like. I hope it will be good. I hope I'll be able to become a good alchemist. But as I take a deep and joyful breath, I say, bring it on. So, grandkids, this is the start of our Alchemist playthrough. I hope to do a lot of things with Willow. One thing, updating the shack for her. She will eventually get a follower. She's going to eventually go to another land to see what exotic ingredients they might have there, and then come back. She would like to also, on down the road, then after she has her follower, build her own house if she has accumulated enough money. Also, she would like to pick up a young Khajiit and start training her in alchemy to take her own place someday, far in the future, I hope. So this is where we're going to leave it for the introduction. And I will see you next time, grandkids. Bye-bye.